Welcome to the Some Laugh podcast.
It could be like, oh, that was some laugh, or there was just some laughs.
Some laughs.
Well, no promising all laugh.
No, there's going to be some.
It's some laugh.
For me, it was like a sort of tranquility base where you have to give it a few listens to get right into it.
Aye.
More down there.
Yeah.
I find that with Kendrick a lot. Like, you just need to get your ear around it a wee bit.
Aye.
And then there's a few like that N95 songs, like
That's good.
a banger, and there's a couple other ones.
Die Hard is a favourite of mine.
Yeah. But I've already stopped really listening to it. I know that way when you give an album a right good listen, you listen to it loads, and then once you go away from it, I've not went back to it now. So, I don't know. But it's good, but
Go back to it.
it's not like wall-to-wall bangers, I suppose, is the only thing.
Nah, but he's never usually wall-to-wall bangers, Kendrick. Usually get the odd one, but
That's the problem, though.
that will secure his place in the rap heaven.
The rap heaven.
The rap heaven.
The rap heaven.
Rap Hall of Fame.
Who's in your rap heaven? Who's your top
Well,
five?
obviously Biggie and Tupac are dead, so they're there.
Do they need to be dead before they can ascend to rap heaven?
Aye, well, once Kendrick's dead, he'll go to rap heaven, won't he? And then you've got other dead guys. Who's like DMX? He died.
Mm-hmm. Who's in rap hell is what I want
Yeah, I
to
was
know.
going to ask that. Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice.
No, he doesn't even
Melton.
need to be dead to be in rap hell.
There's some shite rappers, obviously. Some of my least favourite rappers off the top of my head, Da Baby,
Aye. Famously cancelled.
cancelled.
a version
He's
of
in
what-
rap hell.
Double
Rap
cancelled now.
I've never listened to a Da Baby song.
No,
I just
don't
know
even
that he's
really know.
cancelled.
There's also Lil Baby, and sometimes I see
Lil
Lil Baby on a song, and I'm like, oh, is
Is
that,
he not cancelled?
is
But
that
he's
Da
not.
Baby?
That's
Too many babies.
They must be brothers.
What's one of these babies? All of a sudden?
So, well, I know it is strange. Why would you go for? Because you would want some bravado in your rappers, wouldn't you? Not like this guy is a baby.
Yeah, because everybody used to be Lil Wayne and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then
Lil
maybe they'll
Chris.
add Lil.
He's in
There's
rap
too many
heaven.
Lils. Is Lil Chris dead?
Little Chris from Skill Rock, or whatever it is. Rock Skill. Is that his name?
Rock School. Yeah.
Little Chris. Yeah.
Lil
He's dead
Chris.
too.
Oh man.
He wasn't a rapper,
What a way to start.
but he is a Lil.
So that's your rap heaven. Biggie, Tupac,
Lil Chris.
DMX, Lil Chris, and they're saving a space for Kendrick when he dies.
And a special shout out to Saba. That's my favourite rapper.
You like Wax? You're always listening to the
Wax
rapper
is
Wax.
great, man. Wax is great. But
You're
he
the only
doesn't get
person I've
I don't
ever
even
heard
know
that
what that
listens to him.
Big Wax, man. Get listening to him. He was a kind of YouTube rapper, but he got signed to like, I don't know if it was like Rockefeller or something, and basically they were like, you need to make a banger because we need this to go up in the charts. And he made this one that got to quite good in like Germany or some shit, and then they were like, nah, see you later. But he's class, man. He's got a good flow.
It's funny when you hear about folk that are like averagely like received or whatever, but they're huge in like one foreign country.
Yeah.
I'd love that for
It's
myself.
like us
just to
in
be huge in
Sweden.
Germany. Yeah.
We're
Aye.
big in Sweden,
It's
guys.
no, guys, you're listening to the fourth biggest comedy podcast in Sweden right now. We're also doing quite well in the British stand-up charts, but
Really?
the reason for that is because almost no one lists a podcast
As
as stand-up.
yeah.
But we have, and we're like almost near the top, basically, already.
Aye,
Like, game that system.
who else would be classed as stand-up? I don't think anyone else would.
Nigel Ung, one of his podcasts is on it, and a few other people. But
Because if you're putting out a podcast every week and it's stand-up, that's a lot of
yeah,
material.
but
eh?
no, none of them are actually stand-up. I think it's like just comedians that are stand-ups that have put it in that
Yeah,
category. So,
Technicality.
and the technicality and the comedy charts, I don't know where we are, but we'll be rising thanks to you guys. So thanks very much
Yes.
for listening.
Keep listening.
No. Anyway, we have been, since we last recorded, both me and Stu have been away on holiday.
Not together.
Not together,
Sadly.
separately. No, it would be great. I'd love to go on holiday,
Yeah,
mate.
we can. We'll book it after this.
What
Let's-
about
let's
me?
do it.
Can I come?
Yeah, if you like.
It's a single lad's holiday now, Stevie.
Ah,
so
fuck's
yeah.
sake. I
Can
could
be
be
You know
Yeah,
what? You know
still.
what to do.
I can be your wingman, guys. Come on.
How was your holiday, Stu?
Yeah, really fun, man. Yeah. How was yours?
It was good, but I think it's the difference we had was, so I was away on a wee kind of family holiday, quiet one. You were away with
Technically a lad's holiday, and it was just me and my friend Ollie.
Where's that
Couple of
lad?
lads, couple of likely lads. Yeah, a lot more sleeping in on my own, I would imagine.
Yeah.
That's the key difference.
Well, it was
Yeah.
hard for me to sleep in on mine because I was sharing a room with my dad, right?
Oh, man.
Which I was dreading, to be honest. Wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was fine. But he was insisting on getting up at 7:30 every single morning to go and get
Classic.
his fucking all-inclusive breakfast.
You got to get the
fucking paid for
breakfast.
I know. And the thing is, he only found out in the last day when I told him that the breakfast was on till, he thought it was on till 9:30, so he's getting up earlier than
A couple of
necessary.
hours in it.
Yeah. I was like, it's only 10, and he's like, what? So I've never been, right, so this is my experience of the family holiday, right? So I've not been abroad like on a proper holiday in years, and even then it was lads' holidays. So we were in this hotel, all inclusive, really nice place in Greece, right? Beautiful, it was a quiet bit, a Crete though, right? So it was like, it wasn't really a lot going on, even down the main, like, kind of beach where there's like seafront restaurants and that. There's all restaurants, all quite nice, no real bars or anything like that, so just not a lot going on. Hotel's like a resort full of families and couples, really, right? So I'm kind of twiddling my thumbs at night a wee bit, but I knew this going in, right? It's family holiday, chilling out by the pool. But it was my first time really getting an all-inclusive holiday, right? I didn't really know what that entailed as such, and I'm sure this is well-worn territory, right? But I could not believe the fucking stinginess of, like, all the portions, and, like, they give you, like, you
Oh,
get
really?
free drink, right, all day, but
I thought
they
you were
give
going to say
you...
the opposite.
I know. I thought you could get all you can eat.
You can, but they give you in, like,
Can it?
they give you, like, a wee half pint, like,
Oh,
glass,
in a measure. Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's
so
like
you,
the
so
wee
you have to order like 40.
tiny plates, so it's almost like everybody's doing everything begrudgingly.
Yeah.
So they're giving you the food and drink begrudgingly. They're like,
Yeah.
right, you can have anything, but you know, if you want 2 pints, you need to go up 4 times to get like the wee thing. And you know, if you can eat all you want, but you need to do in this fucking tiny plate, and you need to keep coming back
Yeah.
for servings. And then there'll be people that are going, well, do you know what, I paid for that, I'm getting my money's worth. So they will begrudgingly then, and come back, go up 4 times to get 4 helpings of a breakfast.
Of course.
Because they paid
I've
for
got a
it.
fucking brass neck on me in those situations. I'm getting my money's worth.
You take food away with you, bread rolls in your pocket and all that.
Have done, yeah. Not an all-inclusive though. If I'm staying by the pool and everything, I'm just fucking up and down all day.
But it just made me think, like, there's obviously got to be some psychological reason. Like, they'll have done their market research, like, right, well, you know,
Yeah.
the most efficient way is to give people these wee plates
Tiny
that make
plates.
they'll eat less and blah blah blah,
Well,
right?
you ever been to like Pizza Hut buffet and it's like the fucking, it's like a side plate they give
Yeah.
you. You
Yeah.
can fit one slice
A
on
bit
it.
of lettuce on there.
Yeah, dirty
bread
bastards. That's
But
how they do it.
They must know that that's a way of making people probably get less than
Aye.
they maybe would otherwise. But and the whole thing is, like, all inclusive, like, it's good, you know, it's all free, but you just go, it just makes you feel like it just feels like such a pure
fucking
stingy
tight.
Aye.
tight
Weird,
arse thing.
uneasy
Yeah.
combination of all you can eat and rationing at the same time.
It is 100%.
Pick a fucking lane, man.
Exactly. And then even, like, you're going into the place and it's like, you know, the set times to the breakfast, lunch and dinner, and, you know, again, it's like, I'm not complaining, it was a nice hotel and all that sort of stuff. You know, fucking, it was a family holiday. But it's like, it did feel a bit like prison food sometimes, you know.
Was
Like,
there different restaurants you could go to, or was it just the
it was
one?
just the one, and
Was
it's
it?
like a buffet, so it was like, you know, I'm sure there's nicer versions of this thing, but it felt very much like, yeah, it was kind of like cafeteria food, and it did have the feeling sometimes like you were trapped in a very picturesque prison.
Yeah, that is kind of what it is. We went to Cancun one year and it was all inclusive, and it was, you could get like 3 different restaurants, but it was clearly like the one kitchen just serving it to all
Aye.
the different places
It's
that
like-
you could
Put a
sit.
bit of tomato sauce in it and put it in
Aye,
a different...
that's
It's like
the
one of the
Italian
takeaways that do pizzas and a chippy
Aye.
and
Kebabs
like
and everything.
Indian and all that. Aye.
specialise in everything, and then you just can go anywhere. And it was we had like a breakfast buffet as well. Everyone called it the scruffy buffet because it was fucking horrendous. Like, first day we were like, oh, this is class, man, piling it up, like piling hunters of shit in this plate, and the next day everyone's just shitting their guts out. Sorry to
Wow.
bring it
Oof.
down a notch.
Evocative turn of phrase.
Just completely
I
floored.
mean, scruffy buffet is putting it lightly. If that's what was happening.
But like, everyone like had the same experience, and then over the kind of days you realise what you can eat and what you can't to get through your day without shiting yourself. So you'd go, I'll
This is
stick
very
to
prison as well.
stick to plain bread and maybe the omelette or whatever, that might be fine. And then we knew a couple of people who came afterwards, like a few days later, and they're just walking by with a plate piled high, and we were like, don't do it.
Oh,
mate, don't do it."
Icarus. The grace of God. So no, on the scruffy buffer, you got to go up to the biggest guy on the first day and spark him out. I went to one about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was class, man. It was really good. No complaints.
Yeah.
But it was like a huge restaurant and with different areas and stuff, and they'd have like a special cuisine every night or whatever. But I used to just relish getting a bunch of random shit.
Stuff that doesn't go together.
I remember about 6 days in, I had a plate of potato smiles and shark. So I thought, when else am I going to do this, you know?
What does shark taste like?
A little bit like tuna, I would say. It's a meaty fish.
Seems
And
quite
potato
rubbery.
smiles are just like potato, but
Oh.
dried.
They
Delicious.
just give you a more happy feeling, really.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
potato smiles. So where were you staying then, Stu?
Last week,
Aye.
I was in Malaga, Spain. Yeah, very nice, lovely. Not far from where you went on that stag do.
Yeah, a couple of episodes back we were talking about a stag do that I was on, which was in Ben Almadena, which is, you fly into Malaga and then
Yeah.
you go
And then
the
you-
opposite way.
No,
Did you
thank
get
you,
a-
all that culture and history.
Yeah.
Keep that there.
See you by the pool.
We'll go to the fucking the square or whatever.
Did you get a plaque up? It was like, Steve Buchanan was found guilty at the court here.
That was actually in Carlisle. No,
Oh, fair enough, aye. Aye, so what did you get up to then? Stu? Just a lot of drinking and...
Yeah.
you could say that.
Yeah. There was some cultural stuff. Went to the Picasso Museum, went to the cathedral that your friend Gary told me about. Do you remember that?
Oh, did it?
Fives. He was getting slagged because he recommended the cathedral to me at Lads 5. Beautiful cathedral.
Gary was not at any cathedral that weekend. I can tell you that.
He knew about it though, something like that. But yeah, a mix of stuff. A lot of like we booked in loads of fun things after we'd had 4 or 5 beers, and then kept realising on the Airbnb experiences thing that we'd completely fucked up the booking. They're like, we're meant to go to this place, it's called something like Caminito del Rey, and it's like a hike. It looks incredible,
Aye.
but I'd fucking booked it for like 2 months after we left and shit like that. And then we booked to go canyoning, which, I mean, I still don't really know what it means, but it looked fucking class. It's like in a canyon, all this rappelling with ropes and water and all this kind of shit. And what was the problem with that? It was something like, oh, we thought it was like we're going to get picked up in the town square, and once again we've had like 4 pints,
Yeah.
and then after like 6 pints we realised that you get picked up like an hour and a half away or something, so we'd have had to get up at like 5:20 a.m. or something like that.
You were
And
gonna
well, fuck that.
go canyoning 6 pints deep.
I was planning to, yeah.
That
But,
sounds insane.
Well, the drinking got out of hand because we realised
We're
throughout the
waiting.
evening that we'd fucked tomorrow anyway, so we may as well just go ape shit now.
Oh, so it was the next morning. I thought you meant you were waiting to get picked up that night and you were just tanning pints.
Yeah, just
One for the
keep
road.
going, yeah. This will probably improve my canyoning. But no, yeah, really, really fun. You know, lots of, it's like a city break, beach.
Aye.
What more do you want? You know?
That's quite good, because I was thinking that, because like Malaga, I'm just like, oh, was it a city break? But it's got a beach there as well, so you've got a wee
Best
bit
of
of...
both.
Yeah, because it was sold to me as like a small Barcelona, because that's what Barcelona's like,
Mhm.
and it was that. It was cool, man.
Barcelona's cool.
Recommendation.
Right outside.
CMB, our friend, was in. He was in Barcelona when I was in Malaga,
Aye.
and he messaged me. He was like, hit me up if you fancy a pint and some patatas bravas or something. Like, oh yeah, let's do that. And then it didn't occur to us that until we looked into it, it was like a 9-hour bus journey. It's like he's in fucking Dover and I'm in John O'Groats. You're like, just fucking come on, hit me up, man.
That would have been the biggest booking mishap, I think, of all the ones you've listed. Like, tomorrow, 5 o'clock in the morning, we're getting up, bus to Barcelona.
To go for a pint with a cunt, I go for pints with all the time. I was on the lash with them on Sunday in Hindland.
We had a bit of a funny one with the booking when we were there. So as I say, it was me, my dad and my sister, right, were away. I say, just a chill one. So basically the only thing we'd really done was we're going to go a boat trip, right? So my dad is he's very forthright in his decision making without a lot of prior, actually, like, he's not basing it on
You're
it.
choosing your words like you're in court.
Try not to get shot to the head. Basically, no, so he's decided, right, that we're going to go into the town Heraklion, which is where the airport is, and there'll just be boat trips there, right? And
Is that
we'll do
anything to do with Hercules?
Well, you're the expert on Greek mythology, apparently, Stevie.
Because
So
it was Greece you went to, wasn't
yeah,
it?
well,
So
it
it
was
has to
Crete.
be.
Yeah.
It's got to be Hercules, isn't it?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's spelled with a K, but anyway, I don't know.
Aye, that's how they spell it over there.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it.
Heracles, that's what they say over there. So.
Although like, see when we were driving in, there's like a big mountain, and it actually looks like a face lying down. So they call it Zeus's face because it looks like a nose and a mouth. It looks class. It's fucking amazing.
That does sound
Better than
right up
Arthur's
my
seat,
street.
innit?
Yeah,
Zeus's
pretty
face.
much. Doesn't even look like a fucking chair or anything,
Nah,
obviously.
pish.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we go in there, right? So my dad decides, my wee sister on the morning of is like, oh, I've found this boat trip online. Do you want me to just book it? And he's like, no. Every time I've got a plan, you're always trying to do something different, right? So, right, cool, we'll follow your plan, right? I'd already been fucking arguing about, like, putting sun cream in a bag or some shit the previous day, right? So I'm like, I've checked out, and I'm like, right, I'm just going to listen to my earphones. I'll let you handle it. I'm sure you know what you're doing. So we get up. There's a 8:30 and a 9:30 bus, right, going into the town this day from where we are. So we're getting the 8:30 bus. We're up at the fucking crack of dawn. Get this 8:30 bus. It doesn't come for ages. Eventually picks us up. We get in there. And then, so we got off the bus, right? And classic boomer thing today for my dad, right? See, rather than going like any of us would, they go, right, we'll just like Google Maps wherever.
He's been a lot less tactful with his language choice now.
Yeah, I'm getting in there. Basically, rather than like Googling, all right, where's the centre, where's the bit we can book something, my dad just sees the sea and starts walking towards it. So
That's what the boat's gonna be.
And as I say, I'm just like chilling in the back. I'm listening to a fucking podcast. I'm like, alright, I'll just see what happens. So we're walking in the fucking scorching sun for about 15 minutes, just moving in this one direction, right? And we're down by the seafront, but there's all these like fucking yachts and like cruise liners and stuff, right? And we walk, and then I just see my sister stopping and saying something to my dad, and she obviously goes like that. Do you know where you're going? And my dad goes, no! So we then have to walk all the way back the way we just came to get to the bit where there was actually boats and stuff. And then so we find this wee like kind of travel agent. We go in and it's like this, honestly, about an 80-year-old woman like behind this desk on the computer. And they're like, so we've got no boat trips today. So we'll instantly, right, this entire trip has been a fucking waste of time, right? And I'm like trying to just stop laughing, like, because I know if I mention it, if I say it to my dad, like, he's going to get off his nut.
Volatile.
So I just, like, I didn't say it. And so we end up just booking it for the next day. But we're honestly in there for a bit of an hour, right? Like, the woman was taking so long. She's taking all details, passport details of this and that. And she took, honestly, about an hour to type all these things up. And, like, we are, like, sitting going, what is it she's doing? And occasionally, like, they're going, oh, do you need transport for the hotel? And she'd phone somebody up and have this, like, pure massive sounding argument in Greek. And then it'd be like, right, okay, you get picked up at 10:30 or whatever. And then, so basically they take all this time, and then they print off this one, like, half a page, and it's just got, like, Jennings free, and, like, our fucking passport number or something. And we're like, is that literally what we've been waiting here all this time for, just like one shitty bit of paper? And my sister's sitting there going, I could have done all this in like 20 minutes on my phone this morning instead. So we had to do all that and then come back the next day. And I was just like, it is just absolutely classic. And it brought me back to like, that happened so many times when I was a wee guy, that you would just get taken to a place and it'd end up being for no reason. But then I had no idea what was happening. Now I'm going, I can't believe this is how you live your entire life.
Just see what happens.
I know. But I would say we went in the boat the next time. It was fucking amazing. It was brilliant. The boat trip was absolutely beautiful. So
we
Worth
didn't
it.
do the hike or the canyoning. We got lashed twice instead, and that was also amazing.
Oh my god. Well, at least you never went in any trips for no reason, I suppose.
Yeah, that's something. It is funny, like, just think, like, being, like, just two guys on holiday, it did really make me think back to, like, family holidays and that, where just everything's such a big deal. Like, if you're going to do something, like, you need to get up at 8, make the most of it, like, don't waste the day and all this kind of shit. And, like, we were just being so half-arsed about everything. Obviously, we were making loads of fucking mistakes, but
Yeah.
just, like, having, like, I've just got, like, a screenshot of like a Ryanair flight. That's all I've got on my passport. That's all I've got to sail me across the world, you know. Whereas like back in the day, Mum's got like fucking printouts and fucking laminating shit and stuff. You're like,
Got a wee
just chill
folder
out, man.
with all the documents in it.
Yeah, poly wallet and everything.
That wee blue card in case you go to hospital.
Yeah. This is the first time I think I've ever gone on holiday where my mum's not had to buy me insurance. Ma's fucking love travel insurance.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But now she obviously doesn't care if I live or die.
Here's a question, right? Did you take, well, first of all, did you take traveller's checks? Secondly,
I've never worked out what they are.
I know I've heard of that, but I don't even know what that is.
well, I used to take them when I first went on my lads' holidays, fucking about 10 years ago now. It's like you would take half your money in euros and
This
half
sounds
in
like a
traveller's
Peter
checks.
Kay routine or something. We're in traveller's checks.
Get your traveller's checks.
But
Come on.
basically, I think
Traveller check.
I think the thing behind them was if somebody nicked them, it'd be harder. I don't know what
They
the reason.
couldn't use
It was
it.
so as you didn't just have to carry all this cash. But whereas now, I basically brought almost no cash.
Just bring your
with me.
card.
I just brought my Monzo card, and that was it.
Yeah.
What did
Do you get charged for Monzo? No.
No, you
I
don't.
think
There's,
that's the thing.
there's
Innit?
no charge because that's
I
how I
took
used it in
500
Australia.
quid in cash.
Did you?
Old school.
Quid, not euros.
Well, in euros. £500 worth of euros.
He's like refusing even.
563
I don't-
euros.
I
something
don't
like that.
pay with euros over here, lads.
Foreign
Right?
muck. No way. We voted out of this.
Great British sterling is all. Yes.
Did you see Len Goodman this week describe foreign food as foreign muck?
Yes.
I've never heard anyone actually use that phrase seriously.
That was my
really
favourite
makes me
moment of
laugh.
the Jubilee.
It's the
Actually,
only thing I fucking saw. That was my experience of the Jubilee.
the mask slips. Eh?
It wasn't a good mask from Len. to
No.
be fair.
No, you could tell. I watched like a cooking program with Ainsley Harriott and him, and it seemed tense the whole time.
Oh, really?
Ainsley was like cooking him some
Len's
fucking
obviously just said something racist in the green room.
aye, and then
2
he's
minutes
having
before.
like Ainsley's having to smile his way through
Touching
it,
teeth.
going, "Here's a wee dish," and he's like, it's so reluctant, and he was like, "Oh, it's not as bad as I thought it would be," and then you're like, "This guy is an old racist."
See, I've never really watched Strictly or whatever the fuck he's on. Was it Dancing on Ice?
It was Strictly.
I've not. So see, anytime I see those judges for that, it looks like kind of like fake judges that you would get in like a film parody of like X Factor or something. Because I don't know who any of them are, and they just all seem like mad, like over the top, pure ridiculous characters, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a proper relic, that guy.
Aye. Big time.
He's
Who's
just
the
somebody
other
who shouldn't be on the telly.
It's just all old, stupid cunts that shouldn't be a thing that's on that show, innit?
No,
It's
what
like,
you need is young stupid cunts like us.
like
That's-
us
It should be a
hosting it.
thing.
Aye. Would you go on Strictly if asked?
No, because I would fuck one of the dancers.
Yeah,
and it
but
would-
that's the reason
that
that I
would ruin my
would
life.
do it. Actually,
Curse.
Actually, right now I could fuck a dancer and that'd be fine.
Ah, you're a single man, Stu.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But it depends what their situation is.
This is
you know.
true.
If you were happily married, would you go on Strictly? Then the curse is going to happen to you.
I don't know. I mean, that is fraught with
where has there
problems.
ever been a time where a comedian has went on Strictly and
Yeah,
it
and it's
had
worked out
ruined
well.
them career? You know, it's never happened before.
I remember
Uh,
seeing, I don't want to burn his material, but I remember seeing Frank Skinner once. He did such a funny joke about he's like talking about getting older and how you change growing older, and he's like, I think I'm at the age now where I could go on Strictly and it'd be all right.
Did you have any delays when you were away, Stu?
Yeah, not on the way out. It was all gravy, but on the way back, it was funny. It wasn't like it was horrendously delayed. It was only like an hour or 90 minutes or something. But what was really funny to me was it was just such a half-arsed vibe at Malaga Airport, and it was so funny because it was like there was like some tin. It was like I was flying to Glasgow Prestwick, which actually, speaking of booking errors, we only realised we were going to Prestwick and not Glasgow like the night before.
Oh, nightmare.
Sake.
But anyway, we were going to Prestwick and we were at the gate, and there was a flight to Luton which was delayed, and it's like they just crammed the two most tin pot fucking airports in Europe into the one gate. So like there was so much confusion about like there's loads of folk trying to go to Luton, trying to go to Prestwick. Everyone's confused. They're delayed, and then what basically happened was they were just trying to palm us off onto different gates to get rid of us, to get us out of the queue.
Yeah.
And they moved us between gates, honestly, like 10, 12 times. And it was just becoming completely farcical. But it was so funny watching like 150 hungover, raging Scottish people. Just like every time there was like more ire and like fucking fury getting moved between the gates. Everyone just losing their cool.
Aye.
Yeah, it was a fun morning.
That was seeing the way back. Actually, like there was flights going back to Birmingham, Manchester, and Glasgow. and I remember like the Birmingham one was boarding before us, and for ages after everybody'd gone, they were like shouting out for like 2 people who hadn't.
That happens at Owen as well for Belfast.
Yeah.
You're like, are you just fucking waiting on the tarmac for these cunts?
I know. Well, the thing is though, because they must, I take it, only do that when people are clearly in the airport and they've checked in, but they're not on the flight yet. Because otherwise, obviously, they just go, people haven't showed up. But they kept putting out for this thing for ages, to the point where I was thinking the same.
Just go.
I know.
Exactly,
With
fucking Jamie's Italian, who gives a shit.
But here's the thing, right? Well, I realised
WHSmith.
when we got on our flight, there was like a fucking hour's delay or something on the tarmac. So clearly they're like, we know we're not leaving for a while, so we'll just keep putting out this thing to be like, hurry up, we're going to leave, I'm telling you. But obviously they fucking
Empty
knew
threat.
they weren't going to be moving for ages. But it was weird though, because like, you do wonder, how did these people end up being in the airport and missing the flights?
Just
The
having
only
such a
thing-
class time in the airport.
Yeah, just pissed in the fucking Weatherspoons or whatever.
Loving the WHSmith as
That's it,
per
guys. I'm the WHSmith guy
That's
now.
your thing now.
That's going to be my new show.
Steve's had a viral video since we last spoke where
we were talking a couple of episodes back about being recognised and stuff.
yes,
And I was
I
like,
do feel, by the way, a bit guilty because I feel like we brought that up on a couple of episodes in a row, and I'm like, they
I
stopped
had a
doing this.
belter of that recently, by the way. But anyway, you do.
well, yeah, because I'd previously said that I'd never been recognised really
Yes.
at all. And then that, like, after that video, about 3 or 4 people, I went to a gig at the Barras, and 3 or 4 people came up to me and was like, "You're the WHSmith guy?"
That's
Yes, I am the WHSmith guy.
You're
Wonderful
no longer
ever.
the co-op guy.
Yeah, the guy who works in the co-op.
You're now the guy.
I've moved shops.
Yes.
I had one on. Like, it was really nice, and everything. She was really nice.
Uh-huh.
And as I say, it doesn't happen that often, so it's still exciting for me when it happens. You know?
Absolutely.
But what really made me laugh was she was a train conductor, right? I was coming back from Aberdeen doing a gig, and she was so over the top of it. It was like I was George Clooney or something like that. I was just like to the point where I was just like laughing.
Yeah.
You know, like how ridiculous it was. But what really tipped me over the edge and really made me laugh was she couldn't believe that I wasn't sitting in first class. I was like, do you want me to just show you my digital banking?
And what was it she
I could barely
recognised?
stretch to the 40 quid for
And
this.
did what she recognised you
From
for?
Scots Club.
Scots Club, you're like, you
how
really
much
need to
drink
know
I'm
the
getting
budget of
paid?
these shows on BBC
BBC
Scotland.
Scotland, man. I should be on the megabus.
Fucking train prices these days. Could
I
lucky
know.
afford fucking standard class.
I should be clinging to the underside of this thing, man.
That's hilarious.
What gig are we at?
Cassidy.
Hmm.
The Barrowlands I
At
seen.
the Barrowlands, yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
It was really good. Good gig. Went to the after party. It was funny because, like, so the lead singer of Cassidy, Barry, is my cousin Emma's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, we know Barry, he'll get us in. Come on.
You at the door going, I'm the WHSmith guy.
No far off it. We're like,
Mate, I've played the fucking Barrowlands before.
that's true. I've been back.
We've all
fucking
played the
stage.
bars on the same night.
That's
Aye,
fair enough,
we
eh?
have actually. I know it's weird when you're watching a gig there and you're like, I should be up there.
I'd be working the stage better than that. Come on.
It's depressing though, because it's not really a room for stand up. It's an amazing music room. Stand up room.
Yeah,
Not
it's
so
not,
much.
It's not so much, no. But yeah, this was a music gig. But we were like, aye, Barry will get us backstage. Come on, we're like, all right, Barry, how's it going? He's like, oh, good to see you guys and that. It's like, oh, what you up to? Just feel hanging about, you know, like, what you up to now? And it's, just going back here. Are you? Aye. He's like, aye. Cool. And he's like, and then eventually it was like, no, there's an after party at St. Luke's. I'll see you over there. And we're like, right, great. It's like, okay, we'll see you there. But he did actually get us into the after party in St. Luke's. He didn't get us backstage at the Barras, but shout out if you're listening, Barry.
Funny if he gave you like the wrong place. It's like, right, I'm sending all them to St. Luke's for the
Aye.
real after
The
party.
real one's in Van Winkle across the road. I used fuck off the
You
St.
don't need to
Luke's.
say your name or anything. You just walk in.
But yeah, we went to the after party. We thought, it's going to be like free booze and all that. It's like, nah, it's more. If anything, it's more expensive
Yeah.
than the peasants bar in St. Luke's.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. This thing though, you always think like, oh, there'll be these big showbiz parties and it'll be all free booze and all that. But think how much that would fucking cost if you just imagine doing a gig and then afterwards you had a free bar.
Bought booze for everybody. It's insane, isn't it?
No.
It's like having a wedding. It's like you have to buy people dinner. Fair enough,
Sounds
aye,
shite,
but
doesn't it?
it does sound shit, innit? But then if you were like, there's also a free bar, fuck that.
Yeah.
I was at a
Makeups.
free bar on Saturday night that I shouldn't have been at either. It was like so tangential, my relationship with the free bar.
Oh, aye.
Of it was it was in town, but it was for a place my mate used to work like 4 years ago or something like that. So
Yeah.
I'm like a friend of someone who used to work there 4 years ago. And obviously the words got round that there was just endless Peroni. So like people are just coming in, and one of my friends came, and you're like, where does it end, you know?
Yeah.
Just what will you do for a free bar?
But the free bar in our sort of circumstances, like doing stand up, is always like an industry thing, like at the end of the fringe or whatever, and that's always when you're going to make an absolute cunt of yourself because you're tanked up in free Peroni.
We've all got memories in the
there's-
in the loft bar.
The loft. There's like mad producers and agents about, and you're just an absolute steaming prick.
Or even Glasgow Comedy Festival, they would do a free bar at the launch for like a couple of hours. And again, it's like when you're around people, promoters and, you know, owners of clubs and stuff like that, and particularly when we all open spots, and it's like the time where you shouldn't be talking to MD.
Keep your powder dry.
And then all of a sudden, I nearly walked up one of the Glasgow Comedy Festivals. One of the owners of one of the clubs was there and didn't know me at the time. And I was standing next to them at the bar, and I remember having the thought in my head, I'm gonna go and introduce him and be like, I'm the fucking future of comedy. Not that, but like I just remember like thinking, no, I'm going to go up and but just fucking say hi and I'm so no that way these thoughts go through your head. I'm so glad I never done it. It'd have been so fucking
Look at you now, but come on.
Look at me now.
On the Some Laugh podcast.
Some podcast, aye. He's listening to me. Going, oh, I fucking email in.
I was speaking to a pal of ours, Liam Farrelly. Does stand-up, good stand-up comedian. He was saying that he was down in London at this mad event where there was a free bar, and he's
He's a young boy.
He's like a young guy, so he's getting absolutely tanked up. But
Good
he was like,
boy.
I was gigging with him like the next day in Peckham's, the gig you done last week, and he was like, just had the fear. He was like, oh, I was calling these mad English producers arseholes. I was like, why the fuck would you do that, Liam?
That is a double-edged sword about socialising with people and quote-unquote networking. Because, like, on the one hand, you can get pally with people and then they're more likely to, you know, maybe give you opportunities. But on the other hand, you could end up fucking it up by saying the wrong thing.
Burn a bridge before you're even on it. Funny thing about being in loft bar or something like that is you will see, this is like an artist bar from one of the venues at the Fringe, where Mark's anecdote from week 1 about Robert Lindsay took place. Did
Do you
that
know
actually
what?
was that
I
web
think
zero?
it was week 0 because you mentioned it in the episode I was just editing,
sake,
and I might need to cut it out because
every
I've
ep, I'm
never
going to
told
keep
that
referring
story.
back to the story they've not heard. But the
Why
funny
don't you
thing
just
about
tell
it
the
to
story
me-
and then we can...
I can't be asked telling it again, but
Nah.
I think we'll maybe put out episode 0 as a
bonus.
bonus and / an apology for fucking up episode 4.
Yeah.
What's funny about it to me though is there will be like, so for example, Mickey Flanagan will be there,
Yeah,
but around him there will be the 3 most delusional, insane open spots comedians
Absolutely.
you've ever seen in your life. That's the
Swarming
ratio.
around.
How the fuck they getting here?
It's always like people like, I don't know if we spoke about this in episode 0, but it's like Jim Davidson
aye.
is always cutting about.
We did see Jim Davidson.
We've seen him, and what was the thing you overheard? The most Jim Davidson thing you could ever hear in your life.
If you were to do a family fortunes, like top 5 things, you would hear Jim Davidson say after anything like racist or, you know, whatever.
Sexist or something.
I heard him say, and that's why we should privatise the NHS.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I cannot believe that I've just heard him say that.
Len Goodman, how did you get here?
Yeah, but yeah, he's everything that you would expect him to be, basically.
Aye.
Oh, Jim Davidson.
Wait, do you remember when you first heard that he was like a mad cunt? Because I remember, I
What sort of
just
questions that?
well, I just remembered them from my childhood.
Wait, it's like a
on,
9/11 moment into.
Aye,
the
where were
GFQ.
you when you found out that Jim Davidson was a racist? Like, because it used to be on like
Presented
Snooker,
the big break.
the
yeah.
Big Break, and like the Generation Game and stuff.
Yeah.
So when you were a wee guy, you were like, I like
This
this
guy's
guy.
class,
This guy's
yeah.
class. He must be a right laugh. And then as you get older, you're like, this guy is the fucking devil.
Pits, man.
The pits. Do you
I
remember?
can't remember the exact location I was in, but I just remember,
I remember it
realising.
well. It was in the Loft Bar. Said something about privatising the NHS. That's when I knew.
What were you going to say about that place, Stu?
No, I was just gonna say that it's full of mad fucking
Aye.
cunts. Was all.
No,
It's
that
like a
is-
crazy melting pot.
Yeah, and we've made an observation, Steve, because the thing is, see when you go and like first time we were
I
going
mean, I was
there,
in there when I shouldn't have been.
aye, we all have been there when we shouldn't have been, but then you realise that see other people, particularly people that are having good fringes and have great shows, you
They're
never
not
really
there.
see them out there that much. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It's the people who think that that's what it's like that are there, but the
Yeah.
people who are actually doing well and big, they're fucking getting a good night's sleep probably, like,
Yeah.
and ready for their show the next day,
Working on the show.
which isn't fun, but
No,
No,
that's
that's
how
really
you
a fucking
become
scene, eh?
successful.
That's what I'm planning on doing this year, just having a sensible year. I've been saying that every year.
Aye.
Yeah,
Cut
that's
to-
a Jennings classic. That.
Cut to you and Stephen K. Amos in the Love Ballad. Yes!
Yeah, so as you alluded to, basically I'm back on the apps. I'm Ponder Rebound,
Yeah.
and
What sort of apps we on nowadays?
Ah,
Tinder,
all your majors.
Hinge,
Hinge is the worst one. Are you on that?
Do you think
Is it?
so?
Yeah, it's
Bumble.
pish. Yeah, I'm on all.
I would assume Hinge was the best one actually.
You're right.
But Hinge is to look for a relationship in it, whereas Tinder would be more hookup.
That's what they
I
say.
think they're all the same, aren't they?
Yeah, I often think like different apps are just like different bars. It's like they've all got a slightly different layout and a slightly different clientele, but at the end of the day, everybody's there for the same fucking reason.
You
do
there
you
to
know
get
what I mean?
pushed.
Yeah, you there to get fucked
There for
basically.
the free bar, baby.
But why do you think Hinge is the worst one then?
I don't know. There's something about
Is it quite cringe, do you think?
It's cringe. Yeah, I hate the prompts. I
Yeah.
hate the way they're meant to stimulate discussion, but they don't.
They're really pushing the voice memos these days, which I don't like.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's too much.
Hate a voice memo.
And obviously, people are they're all just looking for hot people.
Yeah,
But at least with that, you can pretend you liked what they said about Spider-Man or something.
That
instead
is
of
the
just
one good
one of
thing.
them in the bikini or whatever.
exactly.
Smart
Smart man's move.
it's just a liars. It's a liars app for
Yeah.
liars, I think.
That's true.
But anyway, yeah, I was just laughing last night because I was speaking to a girl on Tinder, and she unmatched with me because I slagged her taste in music.
Sure.
But it was because she.
What did you say though? Were
Well-
you being like one of these guys that like, oh, you don't like
No, I wasn't.
Taylor Swift?
She put in her bio she was talking about being a basic indie bitch, something like that, and then I can't remember exactly what I said. It was bad, but I wasn't being genuinely judgmental. I was being jokey.
Can I guess some of the bands she
Yeah,
might
go
like? Do you know some of the bands? Yeah, Pigeon Detectives,
I mean, probably, but it wasn't on the list.
Kaiser Chiefs.
No, it's more modern than
I
this.
feel this is going to be
One of
another
his lifts.
plus 15.
It was
a
like
fun game.
catfish in the bottom and all that shit.
Of course.
It was bad. But anyway,
Kasabian.
I wasn't being harsh at all. I was just, it was like a jokey tone. Obviously, the tone didn't come across.
Sure.
But it just, literally, like, I looked at it and I just saw the name disappear and it really made me laugh in real time. And it just made me think, well, I wanted to ask, what's, like, the dumbest reasons you've been, like, rejected?
What was it you said to her though specifically? Do you remember?
It was something like, I don't know, I said something and then she was like, I guess, I can't, your taste is better than mine or something like that. I was like, oh, well, that's not for me to say, but yeah, it is. Yeah, something like that. It was not like, I was just joking though. But
Sure.
straight away.
Sure, Steph.
I think these are the risks you need to take sometimes. See, to have an interesting conversation on these apps. Because
Yeah.
everybody always moans about, everybody's so boring and whatever. So see if you actually just try and be interesting or just have a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
You need to take the risk that people might not like it, and obviously you also are taking the risk of going the other way and being a fucking arsehole and you're getting screenshotted in one of these
getting
fucking
dragged.
meme
Beam me up,
accounts.
soft boy or something like that.
That'd be great if Stu did appear on that now. That'd be fucking
Good
hilarious.
for the clip, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you've just got to do that. In terms of getting rejected, I think the problem with that is who's ever honest.
I think you've
about-
never been rejected.
No, not by any stretch of imagination. But no one's ever really honest with you about why you get rejected. So
That's true.
you often can suspect why, or they'll give you a reason, that you can choose to believe or not. But often, and the classics like, oh, I'm not looking for a relationship right now, or whatever. But then I had an experience fairly recently, right, where Lassie gave me that patter, right, like, oh, I'm just, I really like you, but I'm just not looking for anything right now. And I think you can choose to believe that sometimes, and sometimes there might be an element of truth in it. But ultimately, if someone's saying, I don't want to be with you, they don't want to be with you.
Yeah.
And whereas then, so I start thinking, oh, it's because of this and it's because of that. And actually, though, whether or not that is true and what I'm thinking it really is the case, it doesn't even matter, right? Because one, I'm not going to find that out. But two, actually, if you think that someone has rejected you for a certain reason, it's actually a good indicator of where your insecurities lie. And if you're going, oh, it's because, you know, I'm fucking not in good enough shape, or it's because of my teeth or something like that, right? That's actually a good indicator going, oh, well, that's actually, I'm insecure about that, so I can either work on
that.
accepting it or fixing it or both. What was that?
Because I'm allergic to beans.
Again, that's a riff for the fucking episode 0,
no,
man.
no, that's out, isn't it?
No.
That's episode 0.
That's
For
episode
fuck's
0.
sake, man. I don't listen to the
There's
show.
so many good stories in episode 0.
There
Episode
actually
0
is.
is fucking
we really,
class.
we really do need to put it out, actually, so we'll get around to that. Although there's also a big section about like Pete Davidson and Kanye that is totally irrelevant. But anyway, so I just think that's, I think it's like sometimes you can never quite know the real reason, but I think if you have your suspicions about why someone's rejected you, or
Probably
it brings up what you're insecure about, and actually that's what you should focus on anyway, and either try and heal through self-improvement or self-acceptance, or both.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point.
It's an interesting point. I think that's true as well. It is good that you said, though, like, self-acceptance, because sometimes it could be a thing, like...
When someone says you're too short, well, you know
you
you
can't
fucking do
change
with it.
that, can you? Get a knee
Stilts.
transplant or something. Make you taller. But
2-foot knees.
I think I've had to learn acceptance, because it kind of used to bug me about that, but now I don't care anymore. Probably because I've been in a relationship for like
Wear
6
your
years.
crown proud, short king.
I've done that as well.
Short thing? You're not that short, though.
It's too short for some girls.
Yeah, for that indie.
Well, if they want someone over 6 foot, I mean, I'm considerably shorter than that.
That's true. Yeah, that is the benchmark on it, 6 foot.
Which does feel harsh, even though it's not personal, because that's way above the average height. So that's like
Yeah.
a niche almost.
But then it goes back to that thing about what you're saying, Stu, about how it's like, oh, everybody goes, oh, I'm looking for these qualities and this and that. And at the end of the day, it's like, it's all just superficial, and it's like,
Yeah.
looking for somebody hot or somebody.
People want to
that's-
fuck hotties. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. I don't think
exactly.
there's any.
That's one of the things as well, though. Like, apparently it's a scientific fact that if your mother you'll be taller than
Where's
your
this
mother.
going? Alright, okay.
You'll be taller than your mother,
I
right?
thought we were back to philosophy there.
It's
with
going to be
that.
So-
fucking Freud here.
Yeah.
so like, if you're a guy, you'll be taller than your mother, scientifically proven. Apparently, I think there might be some cases that
Are you taller than your mum?
Aye.
Right.
But so, which means if you want to get rid of all the shorties, get the tall women to shag the short guys, and then the sons will be taller, and then it'll be a world
Creeping
of
towards eugenics here.
it'll be a world of tall people. That's the only way to do it.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is,
Get out there in the field and make it happen.
I'm happily in a relationship, Stu.
But the thing is, you see, your girlfriend is shorter than you, isn't she?
So we've made a big mistake.
So if you have a kid, it can still be shorter than you.
So my kid is going to be a wee guy like me. I'm not changing anyone's lives
Your
here.
kid doesn't stand a chance on
Doesn't
Hinge.
stand a bloody chance. Because she's even smaller than me, so he'll probably be smaller than even me. He'll be like 5'3" or something. Oh, God.
It's not the way the human race is meant to be headed.
Oh, God, I feel sorry for that wee guy already.
Maybe by then it will be an unacceptable taboo to discriminate against the
Steve's
short.
kid on Hinge's bios. 5'1", allergic to beans.
But
Surely
I think,
by then the knee transplants will be
aye,
fucking sorted.
they'll invented that by that point. But I think you're right. I think we're kind of going towards a state of people are more accepting of people in general, and I think, you know, maybe the short thing won't be an issue.
Yeah.
Hopefully for my future son. He won't have to go through the things that I went through.
What if your future son is 5'2", and then he gets a girlfriend that's younger than it?
Oh, fucking hell.
Gonna end up with borrowers eventually.
It'd just be like a Russian doll family.
I'm trying to think of like lines that I've been given. I remember one time this lassie said this to me, and I knew this was bullshit as well, because she said to me, "Oh, I think you're kind of hot, but you're too young." I was a year younger than her, right? And I knew that was bullshit, and I knew really, really what she meant was I just wasn't a cool enough guy for her. I thought if I was a cooler guy, should have been more into me, but I was
Maybe
a bit
that's
too.
your insecurity though.
No, well,
Well,
maybe, but
hey, he's got you there.
no, maybe, but I also
Snookered.
knew.
I wouldn't say you're not a cool guy though.
No,
I'm not
what-
saying you are a cool
Thank you
guy.
so
I'm a-
much.
I'm a-
What a great compliment.
I'm not saying I'm a cool guy, but I'm
But
certainly.
you're not a geek.
You're not a dweeb,
I
man.
was a
dweeb.
lot less. But you know what? I was too nice a guy. That's what it was.
Aye,
Too
that's
nice a
what it
guy.
was.
Too much of an incel.
She wants an arsehole.
No, not even that. But just I wasn't. You know, aye. It just seemed like too much. Yeah.
Too
probably.
eager.
Yeah, maybe too eager. I don't know.
Mm.
But I just knew it wasn't
All been
the
there.
the young thing was just like that was an excuse. You know.
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
that, but
You
Hey.
can't be saying you're too young for me if it's 1 year.
No.
That's-
Yeah, that's
Pick something else.
absolutely.
unless it's like she was like 16 and you were 15 and it
That
was
is
like
the case.
illegal.
Not much. You were saying about being at a a free bar when you had a bit of a tangential sort of
Shouldn't have been there.
relationship to it. But like often, particularly when I was younger, I'd been to like so many 18ths that I didn't even know who the
Yeah.
person was.
Aye.
Classic.
And it's like you just turn up, and it's not even a free bar then, but you're just at a party,
Yeah.
and it's like
Something.
It's not
to
even
do.
just like a gaff that someone's having. It's like her
Function
her
room.
grand's there and shit like that. It's in a function room in like a pub.
I went to so many in that place. It used to be called Next Generation. I think it's just a David Lloyd or something now up at Annie's Land.
We done a gig in there.
I did. We done a gig in it. Is that what it's called, David Lloyd? Aye.
Yeah.
And I was in so many because when I'd done that gig in there, I'm like, oh my god, I fucking waited in this room before.
At a party I wasn't invited to.
Literally, it was a party I didn't even know who the person was. But I used to go to loads of them. I think now I wouldn't like to go to a party that I'm not invited to.
I don't even like going to parties that I'm invited to. It's horrible, man. I'd want to just stay in my house.
I know.
But nah, I know what you mean. Like I wouldn't show up uninvited. One of my favourite comedies is Wedding Crashers, guys. And
Heard of it?
ever heard of it? It's not one of my favourites, but I did used to love it. But that was like a thing that I thought when watching it, like, oh, I'd love to show up at a mad random wedding like that
Some
and
wank that
be
ruins a
some
party.
wank that ruins a wedding and
Yeah.
go to a wee house and see what happens. And thinking of that, imagine you actually done that. How fucking insane! I'd hate that.
Was that mainly based on the fact there's a montage in it where they just are like
Shagging
all these different women?
Pretty much. I never got past the first 5 seconds. But
I tell you, I had an interesting insight one time, right? It was during the Fringe, and we'd been to like this show, and it was like all these like well-known Fringe comics and all that were there, all these London-based ones, kind of people that are big Fringe folk, and there was some Scottish people that I knew there, like folk for the circuit. Maybe not even that I'm that pally with, but people that I at least knew and was, and I remember I was with this lassie at the time who knew a lot of the London folk, and I remember after the show it was like this sort of like, crossroads moment where all the Scottish lads were going across the road to get a pint in like Bannerman's or something like that, and then it was like everybody, all the kind of famous folk and all that were going up to the Pleasance Dome, and I remember going, I'm going to go to the Dome, and then I remember it was like all these like famous folk with a boot, and it was like Darryl O'Brien and fucking Aisling Bean and just, I think Jack Whitehall and like these people, and there was all these like folk, some of whom I knew, but
Jim
then
Davidson.
no, Jim was not there this time. No, it was more trendy thing. But I remember sitting there, and it turned out the lassie that I was with, she wasn't as pally with all these people as she'd sort of made out to me.
Led you down the river.
She knew them, but like wasn't really. So we ended up just sitting in a wee corner ourselves, and I was just in this environment where I knew who everybody was, but nobody knew who I was, and I was just a bit like, I wish I hadn't came, because then I just felt like I was pure trying to be there to,
Yeah.
sort of schmooze my way in, and then I just felt like a fanny just sitting there, no talking to anyone,
Aye.
and then, and I just remember thinking like, do you know what? You're so much better just going with people that you know
You
and
like,
hanging
have a
about with
good
that.
night out.
It basically was like
They
that
all know
episode
you're a
of
scab now.
Aye, it was basically that episode of Extras where he goes
Yeah.
into the fucking VIP booth and
Aye.
David Bowie slags him, and then he
That's
goes
right.
back to the pub with the mad guys that like his
That
sitcom
like
or
him.
whatever.
Aye.
It's pretty much that, but it was a big profound moment. I'm going, if you're pure trying to get in the cool room or whatever, it's not about that. Make your own fucking room. Cool.
Yeah, but also it's like, of course that person didn't really know the people, because if they did, they wouldn't be like, oh, I'm just going to bring a random along.
Well, she did know. She was like, I think she used to go out with a guy who knew a lot of them and stuff like that. So they, you know what I mean? It was kind of once removed thing that she knew. She would always be telling me all these stories about these people, and I'm thinking, oh, I'll go along with her and get introduced in it, and then it just never happened. And I just always remember just thinking like, I've been an important lesson of going like,
Yeah.
aye, you know, don't try and go. You don't. Nobody wants to be at a party they're not invited to.
Yeah. Small fish in a big pond.
I wanted to be at that free bar on Saturday, to be fair, but there wasn't anyone famous there.
Yeah.
Fair
that's the
enough.
difference.
That was for a call centre.
Well, you were the famous one, there. The Scott Squad guy.
Amongst my friends, yeah.
I mean, you're very humble. You still take the normal train. You don't go in
Still
first
take
class.
the normal train. Still rock up to a free bar for the free booze. You know, I'm just like you.
I
Hang
should
out
have
with
said
the
that
sorry
to that
people.
training inspector's like, you know, I just don't want to lose touch with the common man. You know, I like
This is
to.
an exercise I do.
People watching. People watching.
Method.
Yeah.
Here's the question, right? It's not like like a philosophical quandary like we've had in the past. It's just like a straightforward question.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm interested to hear your thoughts, right?
Mm.
Are humans obligated to better themselves, and will that make them happier? It's a twofer.
Wow.
What do you say to that, Steve?
Are they? What was it? Say it again. Are they
Just put my phone away. So
Are
I'm gonna
humans obligated to
to
better
better
themselves?
themselves.
better themselves?
and will it make them happier?
Well,
Do you try and better yourself?
yeah. I think I've become a better person over the years. I think that's just natural though. The older you get, the less of a wee prick you are.
Well, some people get
Goes
worse.
against the Jim Davidson routine though that you were talking about earlier.
That's true. He was probably an arsehole when he was on the snooker loopy or whatever the fuck it's called. What was it called?
Big break.
Big Break. Yeah, he was cracking jokes backstage. Come on, Stu. I don't know. No, I guess I don't know if you're obligated, but I just think in general people do mellow as they get older. However, people do say that you get more conservative and stuff the older you get, don't they?
Mhm.
So maybe that's not true.
And do you think bettering yourself improves your life? Makes you happier?
Aye, why not? Probably.
What do you think?
It's a complicated one. It's kind of touching on what we were talking about before, which may or may not have fucked up during the recording again. But I think so. Again, it's that dynamic between self improvement and self acceptance. And I'm somebody who is quite into self help, and I'm always trying to. I've always got wee goals and things I'm trying to do to better myself and all of that. But sometimes that can come from a place of lack or of feeling like you're not good enough or something like that. And ultimately, if you're constantly trying to improve yourself, you know, and you get, even when you get there, you'll still have that feeling. And so at a certain point, you do need to accept yourself. And that is I think that's a big dynamic in the self-improvement community, is like between, you know, self-acceptance and self-improvement. And it's hard to reconcile sometimes, because if you're going, you know, well, I need to motivate myself to do this all the time to get to this place where I want to be, it's hard to go, well, I'm not there yet, so I can accept myself as now. But you do need to do that, because otherwise, you know, if you think, oh, unless I do this or get this thing, I'm never enough, it's unhealthy. And ultimately, you'll still feel like you're never enough, even if you get there.
Yeah. I also think though life experience kind of comes into it, where it's like if you've had a particular experience and it didn't make you feel good, you wouldn't want to put that onto other people as well. Whereas when you're younger, you're like, oh, you're a bit more carefree, I don't give a fuck. You're kind of like the main character syndrome, I'm important, no one else is. So you'd be more likely to be an arsehole. But the older you get, the more experiences you've had shit happen to you, and you go, I don't want that to happen. I didn't like it happen to
More
me. Not gonna.
empathetic.
Yeah, more empathetic.
So you're seeing improvement in yourself as becoming a more empathetic
Morally almost.
person and
Yeah.
thinking more about other people and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I was thinking more along the lines of, self-improvement as it is in those books of like learning new skills or trying to further parts of your life or whatever. And like you said, it's hard to reconcile sometimes. But also, I don't think it's mutually exclusive. Like the thing of like, you can want to lose weight and still feel good about yourself as you are the now. Do you know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Or
Yeah.
whatever example.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No,
But I don't think humans are obligated to better themselves. I think you can be a piece of
No.
shit the whole time, no biggie.
Yeah, well, there's pieces of shit out there.
Three of them in this room right now.
A lot of it comes down to ambition and stuff as well, though, because do you know what I mean? Like, I think we've all worked jobs where we've hated and we've like, I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life, and I want to, go on. And even when you try to do something like comedy, it's a kind of like, it's again, it comes down to ambition, where you're going like, I believe that I can go and do this thing that's not a normal job or whatever. But some people are just happy doing a job and going out and getting a drink at the weekends and going on holidays and all that. And there is a lot to be said for being content with where you are in life and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes you can kind of like, particularly I think if you are doing something that's in the arts or media or that kind of tangentially as we do, like is seeking towards people knowing who you are and getting loads of money or whatever it is. There's something, you can sometimes think to yourself like, oh, unless I become, the biggest star in the world or famous or rich or whatever, then I've failed in some way. Yeah. And actually, you don't. For me,
so that's validation for other people, but
it's external.
Yeah.
For me, a big thing I've sort of realised in the last while with certain things in life is just that I think basically our obligation, if we do have one, is really just try and make the world a nicer place for the people around us, and that can take the form of, just being nice to your, handful of co-workers, or, making somebody smile or laugh. So that's why even with comedy, it's like, I'm certainly somebody who got into it watching Bill Hicks and making all these political points and try to change the world and all these things, and you go, oh, that's what I want to do with comedy and, whatever. But actually, do you know what? See if you're just making people laugh.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Making a difference to their day or their
You're
week.
brightening up the world a wee bit for people. And it's the case with that with anything, whatever job you do, even just the way you go about things in your life. If you can just make people's, lives a bit nicer and help each other get through, I think really that's what we're all here to do to each other. And really, if you can just have a positive impact on any number of people around you, then I think that's a good way to live your life.
Yeah,
and that's why they should like and subscribe.
Absolutely. Well, to be honest,
have a positive impact on us guys by liking and subscribing.
Well, absolutely. But that is one of the things, though. Like we're just sitting about here and just talking shite and all that. But do you know what? Like, I mean, some of our mates who've got podcasts and stuff, I'll put them on and it'll fucking get me through a day.
Yeah.
And and it'll sometimes get you through shite days, and sometimes just give you a distraction, sometimes give you a laugh and all that. And I think it's a good thing that, regardless of whether we get 200 listens or 200,000 listens or whatever, it's just like, if you can, if people can enjoy what you're doing. And that I suppose the weird thing about recording podcasts and stuff is it's like kind of what I'm talking about on a grander scale, because you can potentially at least reach all these fucking millions of people, but the thing is you don't need to.
Yeah, because everything, the thing is with any creative thing is it's just a sense of scale of like, if you like us, like on Sunday night doing a gig to like fucking 25 people or something like that, I'm doing the same thing that Chris Rock is doing at the Apollo or whatever. It's just everything else is just scaling it. You're like,
absolutely,
you're doing the same thing, getting the same,
But absolutely, but even just being like a good friend or a good mother or a good fucking brother or a good just member of the community or whatever, like a partner, whatever it is. Like, I think if you can just be that in the world and just be, again, just be a positive impact on people, and help folk get through their lives, and I really do think that is the key to life. And then that's the people that you look at most fondly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In life, somebody that just makes people feel better, makes things a wee bit brighter. And all the people that we admire and look up to and stuff is somebody that's had that impact on us.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Especially in like the comedy scene, if it's someone who you admire as a comedian, but they've also been nice to you off stage and that, you would much rather like go and you respect them more and go and see their show rather than a guy that you respected that was maybe a prick to you. You go, oh, well, I don't really like that guy.
So I guess to tie it back to the question, that means that that's more important than the actual ambition that's implied in trying to better yourself.
Absolutely, but then I mean, I'm saying that, but I would say I do have ambition, and you do kind of want to go and do stuff, and it's like sometimes you want to just go and do it to prove it can be done. It's like that JFK quote about going to the moon. It's like, we don't do it because it's easy. We do it because I am hard. No, he's a horny guy. No, it's good because it's hard, and it's like, you know, I think there is something in the human spirit that just wants to, you know, that's how we've ended up with the fucking moon and space and all this stuff. Because you go, what the fuck's over there? You know, what can we do that? And that's how we've got all the modern, you know, the modern world that we have. So I think there is, I wouldn't maybe say an obligation to improve, but certainly
just natural curiosity.
There's a natural inclination towards progress that we all should hopefully work towards. And hey, that arguably might lead to the extinction of the species through global warming and all the fucking rest of it. But hey, at least we fucking gave it a go.
We've had some rides, boys.
It's been some laugh.
And a fucking meteor hits the studio.
And as in our final moments, guys, before the world is encapsulated in darkness, please remember to like and subscribe.
It's essentially the ending of that Don't Look Up.
Yeah. It's just enough time as the meteors come down to look down and see that we've not been recording the whole time.
Yeah, so that about covers it for this week's episode of Some Laugh. Thanks once again to Stephen Buchanan and Stuart McPherson for
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mark.
joining
Thank
us.
you.
Oh, thank
And
you
thank you,
very
Stu.
much.
Thank you,
are
Stevie.
welcome. As ever, you can follow us on social media. We're at Some Laugh Pod on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. We do have an email address if you'd like to email us for any reason. If you'd like us to fucking, you know, answer your questions or something like that.
Send in a question.
Yeah, do that.
somelaughpod@gmail.com for that.
It doesn't even need to just be on email. That can be on social media as well.
What?
Sure.
I
You can
ask
tweet
us
us
Oh,
a
about
yeah,
question.
yeah, you can get in touch with us in any way, basically.
Yeah.
If you want us to.
It's really easy to get in touch.
Yeah, it'd be good you gives us free content if we can just answer your fucking questions.
Yeah, big time.
That's what every other fucker's doing.
We're
Basically.
running out of stuff to say already.
Yeah. And and also
Already
yeah,
reminiscing about episode 0.
We're looking forward to the Robert Lindsay and Beans stuff.
yeah. Well, fucking recooked beans here. We've got. But you can also subscribe to us on YouTube if you are watching us on there. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else lets you do that. And finally, we are all three of us doing shows at the Edinburgh Festival this year. Tickets are available in the bio. Stuart, what's your show called again?
It's called The Piche,
The Piche.
which is what I've got alopecia. It's kind of about that.
So you're talking about that. And what time are you on it?
5 to 5 in the afternoon, Monkey Barrel Comedy.
5 to 5. Stevie, you're doing 10 days of the
10 days, 45-minute show called
Shite Bag.
well, I'm
Called
actually
Mr. Beans.
a lot more brave than you guys, just doing stand-up as per usual.
Steve
We can all
is-
do
Steve's doing a
stand-up.
fucking work in progress. He's not thought about that much.
And he's also
Yes.
doing a based on his one viral video about WHSmith's
Let's see
in
if he can
Glasgow
get an hour
Airport.
out of WHSmith.
He's doing a
It's-
character based sketch show kind of thing. Is that it?
WH
called
Smith the
Mr.
musical.
Airport.
It's called Caricature, spelt caricature.
Yes.
Like character. It's a mix between character and
very
caricature.
clever.
It's very clever.
He'll be drawn halfway through the show.
I'll be making caricatures of the audiences throughout. In many ways, I'm a caricature of WH Smith and stuff. Yeah, that's at 125 at Monkey Barrel / Carnivore Beef Restaurant.
Yeah, we're basically
We're all playing in a steakhouse.
we're playing in a steak restaurant, guys.
What's your show called, Mark?
My show is called Original Sound because I'm making no truck towards the Fringe this year, and I've just decided that basically the whole point of me doing stand up is just to cut up into TikTok clips.
That's
So I
good.
thought
It's a
by
good concept.
that theme, although the argument is that I've called my show Original Sound and I am neither.
You're pretty sound.
Oh, thanks very much.
You're not a cool guy.
But anyway, guys, we'll do check that out. Thanks very much for tuning in this week, and we will speak to you very soon.
See you later, guys.
See ya.